Welcome to this series where we are playing as a Khuzait merchant in Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. In the previous part, we created the character, we travelled to Khuzait lands, and we started building up a small party. And what I did is I played a couple of hours off camera, effectively going back and forwards between these three cities, trading. We've got Backhand up here, Mahab here, and Chaikan down here. This video is going to consist of two parts. In the first part, I'm going to talk about the basics of trading, because I think it's very important, especially if you're new to the game, to really understand the dynamic nature of the trading mechanism. And then in the second part, what I want to do is get out and try and complete the quest to rebuild my clan. You can see all we need is to keep our money over 2,000 dinars, and we need to get to 50 renown. So what we're going to have to do is go out and attack some looters and other rebels. We're not going to get into any kingdom wars, and more importantly, we need to hire a companion. And that's what I want to do first, because if I come into this city here and we go to the tavern, you will see I've got Calradia the Huntress here. If we right click on her portrait, you'll see that she's got what good one-handed, really good crossbow skill for some reason. Although whether we're going to get a crossbow for her, I don't know. But more importantly, she is a scout. Now, when you're looking for companions, especially in the games, you're looking for three types of companions. That is a scout, a medic, and an engineer. Although the engineer is not quite so important, because engineers are used in sieges and building up self. But having a scout and a surgeon in your party can make quite a big difference. So we're certainly going to recruit her. She is a really good find. We're just going to come in here. I'm just going to flip through the descriptions here. So I'm just going to go here. Yep, too many men. Hopefully she won't be too expensive. 470, we can afford that. We've now got a companion in our party. That fulfills one of the requirements for completing the mission. We're just going to tab out of here and back to the town centre. And I'm just going to leave just so that you can see her in the party. Plus, I want to remember to put her up on underneath there. I like my companions underneath. And more importantly, what I need to do now is shift the roles, because at the moment I've been playing the role of scout. I want to change that to quartermaster, because if I keep multiple foods down in this area here, we will get a morale boost as well, and that will also improve my, I think it's stewardship traits. And what we're going to do is make her our scout. Just to show you here, you've got scout, engineer, quartermaster, surgeon. So that's the four skills you get in the clan role. Hopefully, as time goes forward, they will add more roles to this, because remember the game is in early access. To be honest, the key one for the actual player you're going is quartermaster. That is a passive skill that you do need to build up if you're going to make money in the mid to late game. So we're just going to come in here. So that done, and that means she's not going to wander off. Now we're going to talk a little bit about trade. Now, before we go into Markeb, I'm just going to talk about the basics. Now, since the dawn of time, there's only one way to make money as a trader. That is, you buy cheap, sell high. And that applies very much to trading in this game. But it can get a little bit complicated. So we're just going to get in here. Now we can look at trade, the trade screen here. This is a screen that you will spend a lot of time on, normally selling loot from the various kind of battles and that you get involved in. So what I'm going to do is just go through what some of these areas actually mean, and probably more importantly, how you can get information which can help you with the trading. At the top left here, you've got the amount of money that this city has. So if you're selling items, the most you can make out of this city is 26,629. Now the one across here with the hammer, it says productions. It gives you the villages and what they produce around the area which are associated with the town. You can see we got a village that produces salt, one produces iron, one produces fish. There's also 3 shops in the town. We've got a wool weaver, a velvet weaver, and an oil presser. That gives you an idea of what's produced. Now, one common mistake you can make is assume that just because these are producing these items, they're going to be cheap here and you can buy them and sell them somewhere else. That is not necessarily true, because the trade in this game, as already said, is very dynamic. It depends on who's coming in and selling. Remember, you've got caravans moving between cities, carrying goods, selling items off, And you've also got the villagers bringing the produce in from their settlements into the town. So if they haven't had a delivery of salt for a little while, the price is actually going to rise up. So that's the key factor here. Now, one of the problems with this side is it can be very confusing with all the various bits and pieces. And this is where these filters in the center come in handy. This is all. If you come here, it shows you all the weapons. This shows you all the shields and some strange reason crossbows. And then this is the armor. Then of course you get horses and the saddles. And more importantly, what we're going to be looking at is all the trade items. This is something you do really need to be careful of, was when you're trading, use this button so you can see what all the various trade items is. And if I come down here, I think I've counted it. I think there's about 26 or 28 trade items in the game. That may change. I think this might be a good point to kind of put in a very strong caveat. Remember, this game is early access. Many things are changing, so some of the things I might talk about in this video may not necessarily be true if you're watching this in 6 months' time, especially with relation to prices. So bear that in mind. Now, when you actually select trade goods, you'll see that you get the trade goods, and down the bottom you get hogs, sheep, and cows. Now, these are tradable, but what you will find is that unlike the other items, you get no kind of average price to them. If you come in here, it doesn't tell you what the average price is. But these can be a very good way to make money if you can work out what is cheap and what is good to sell. The other advantage with having the livestock down here is that if I buy one, if you look at the top right hand corner, you will see that there's a weight symbol that says a weight. If I buy a cow, you'll see that the cow does not add to the overall weight. And one thing you can do is slaughter the livestock for meat. And I think there is a way you can make money from that, but I'm not going to go into that into this video. So moving cows, sheep, and hogs around can be a good way to make money as long as you know your prices. So be aware of that, but also bear in mind that if you've got lots of livestock moving through, your army will most likely move slowly. So that is the basics of the screen here. And as I say, up here, the inventory capacity is very important. As far as I know, that the moment all the weights are the same. Yeah, they're all the way here. So, but I've got a feeling that may change in the future when they get round to balancing this a little bit better. So that's the screen here. Before I get into the details of trading and trade rumors, there's two prices that you really need to get clear in your head. One is the average price, and one is what is the cheapest price. And the average price can be a bit misleading. And more importantly, you also need to know what is cheap, because all the items in this game have a price range between very cheap, the average price, and very high, although very high is quite rare. And what it pays to do is build up an information sheet on what your average prices are if you're going to do a serious trader. Now, if you've got a really good memory, congratulations to you. I don't. What I've actually got is a notebook, and in there I've got all the various products I've been trading in with the average prices I've found. I haven't found the average price for everything just yet, and I've also been building up a little bit of a library over what is a cheap price. So, for example, if I come up here for fish, it's overpriced anyway. You can see that the value of fish is 22 here. Now, I know that the lowest price I get fish at is 6. And the average price is actually about 16. So this is actually above average price, and the top price probably won't be much higher than, say, 30. So buying high is certainly something you don't want to do. And if you actually come in here, if I open this up, sometimes you can go in here, you will see that in this number, the number's in red, and it says this item is 37% more expensive than average. So if you want to know the average prices for fish, you can do as a quick calculation, and that will give you an average price. So for fish, that is about 16. So 37% of 16 added on to 16 is 22. And this is how you want to go. Now, as you go down, you will see some things here. Oops, I don't want to buy fish. Go back. And if we close that down, as you come down here, you'll see some don't have trade rumors. And then another one like butter, there is a trade rumor there. It says that you can buy it in back a hand for 14. Now, that rumor is very bright. And one thing that happens is as the rumors age, they get duller. And be aware that a rumour is a rumour. That is not a guaranteed price. And if I actually look at butter, that is that's telling me that Buckhand is actually selling butter at a very low price. And I can, if I go up there and get some butter and come back, they will currently buy it around the just above average price, which is about 25. Now, be aware that if I go up to Buckhand, one, I won't get probably 14. I'll probably have to pay more than that. And also, when I sell it, this price will drop. This is where you've got a kind of bracket way of doing things. So what you're really looking for is anything with a really big price. You see meat's overpriced. Let's just go down. Let's have a quick look. Actually, salt. That's what we got. Salt, iron ore, fish, wool. So let's have a look down and see what we've got here. Actually see any iron ore here. So we know fish is expensive, despite the fact that they're pushing it. Salt. It says salt here is cheap. Now, getting across to here can be a bit difficult. If you open up, you can come in here. You can see that salt is 37% cheaper. So according to my sheet, that is pretty cheap, and we can sell it at Chaikan for 29. Now, this is where knowledge of the average price actually comes in. So I can buy it in Makeb for 25, but the actual price in Chaikan is below the average price, which is actually 40. You can see, because that's 37% cheaper. So if you imagine that's 25. So the actual price, the average price for salt is 40. So while this says you can buy it cheap, but while this actually says you can buy this cheap, in fact that is not a good deal, because if you remember that if I buy this, if we just go across here, what you will see is the price will start to rise. So the price is rising to what Chaikan is going to be prepared to pay. And so get rid of that. And at the same time, when I get to Chaikan and sell it, it won't be 29. So I mean, just as an example, just to see how this mechanism works, what we will do is we'll buy 2 salt, and we are paying 26 for that salt. Now, now, if you buy trade goods, it always pays to lock things. So we're actually paying 26 for that salt. I'm buying a very small amount because we are going to lose money on this. So moving down to linen, you can see here it says linen is that is actually 23% cheaper in linen, but we can buy it for 27 in Balkan. Again, this is a potentially good deal, but at the same time, you've got to remember is we're probably paying 28, 29, we're paying 41. So we might be able to make some money from that deal by going up to Balkan and buying the linen and coming back. But obviously we don't want to buy it here because that is pretty close to the actual average price. It's saying it's 23% cheaper. So yeah, I mean linen is about 59.60, and we can buy it for about half the price, but we may not get that guaranteed price there. And this is what you're really looking for is, of course you get some really horrendous ones here. It's like this leather here. Come in here. Come on. Play it game. You see this leather here is in short supply, so it's actually 251% more expensive than average. I think the average price of leather is 140%. So when you're looking at these rumors, be very careful about what you're doing. That's actually saying that's an average price, but there's a potential there that we could sell that for a little bit of a profit. So maybe we'll just sneak that in. So we've actually paid 151 for the velvet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come down to Chaikan. Yeah. And see what we can make out of this. We'll probably lose on the one, and we might make a little bit of profit on. Yeah, so we're going to come in here and trade. You can see we got a potential profit on that. So we made 315 on that. But the salt we're selling at 22. Let me just come in here so I can actually see the salt. And we can find the salt. They don't actually have, oh, they got here. So they're at 28, but we're selling it at 22. So if I sell this salt, you can't actually see. Let me just Let's cancel that. What we'll do is we'll sell the velvet. We'll do it in 2 steps. So I can get a good price with the velvet, but I'm still not making a spectacular profit. But we're getting 145 for the velvet. If I come back in and trade with the salt, we got 3 salt. I don't think we're really making a profit on the salt. We're only making 66. And this is where you've got to think a little bit. Yeah, so we're selling it for 22 and it's actually cheap. So we're probably losing a little bit on that salt there. So I think what I will do is I will just actually cancel the transaction. And we'll just keep the salt for the moment. We might be able to get a better price. I know that 22 is the rock bottom price. So what we might be able, we're just going to hang on to that salt for the moment. Because this is one thing you can do, is buy something and then just carry it around the map until you find a good price. And this is where knowing the low price and the average price is really good. So because we bought that reasonably cheap. And we can have a quick look here. So we got furs here. It says we can get this in, sell this in Markham for 116. These are furs. 68 is fairly high, and Markham is actually buying it below the average price. But because furs are expensive, we got a potential there to make a little bit of cash on the way back to Markham. So we're going to buy this at 68, but you can see the price goes up very quickly. So we don't really want to buy too much because we're now paying 70. I think that would be enough. So we're now paying 415 on that deal. And what we're going to do now is just go up to Markham and see if we can make a profit on this. And this is something you do need to wear. And also bear in mind that your party needs to be paid. So if you've got a great big army that's running around, so we're going to come in here and we'll sell the furs. You can see we've made a reasonable profit there. We've made about 100 gold on the fur there. Have a quick look at the salt. And they want 23 for salt. Now I think we'll still keep the salt, but we will sell the furs. So we've made a little bit of a profit on there, and this is how you actually make money. And what we're going to do now is just as a confirmation is that what I want to do is just run up to backhand and see what's actually going on up in this area here. And this is where you do need to think. So we'll just have a quick little trade in here, come to there. And you can see here it's sheep, flax, steppe horses, wool weaver, velvet weaver, and clothier. And let's have a quick look at the salt price. Well, we're still 24. It's still not brilliant. I think we're probably gonna not really get. Well, I think I'm just gonna hang on to that salt anyway for the moment. And if we look down here, we got flax. What's the flax here? We can sell that in Macab for 15. The price difference on that is not big enough to justify the risk, to be honest. And I can't remember what the price of flax is. So that's actually a minimum price for flax, 9. The average price is, but Markab is only buying it for 15, which is the average price. So there's only a difference on 6 there. So I mean, if you bought a whole lot on that and took a chance, and if we go like this, I mean, you can see the price is already rising. And it's not long. Yeah, well, it's not really. I mean, to be honest, trading in the lower level items is quite is not really that good. Hardwood's expensive. Hides, that's we can buy those at 42, but Magkeb is 52, which is below the average price. There's not really. Velvet we can buy for 98, and we can sell in Chican for 73. Now that could be a pretty good price. Velvet, I mean the average price is 140, so maybe if we get a couple of velvets there. Of course, if you check the the prices here, so we're paying 205 for that. So we're just going to lock the velvet, and we're going to come down here, and we're just going to come down to Tricand. Of course, one way you can top up your expeditions is that if you've got a reasonable sized party, you can take out the occasional. You see, I'm now paying 94 gold there, but what we can do is, there's a nice little group of looters here. I need to blood my forces anyway. So what you can do is subsidize your trading with a little bit of teaching the local looters what the errors of their way. So apologies for this digression, but
Get moving!
this is one way that you can actually do things. And I'm actually doing is putting the archers behind my troops, because unlike foot archers, these can actually fire over the top. And what I'm going to do is just go out here and I'm just going to draw some of their troops. Oops, hit them. Now I know a lot of people want to get straight into the bigger battles, but by doing this you actually get some training.
Infantry!
F3, infantry, come into here, 4, F6, you guys go under your own command, and we should now be able to deal with the rest of the looters. And we've won the battle. We killed 13, wounded 2, and 2 of my troops have actually got a level up, which is pretty good. And we'll take the prisoners. We've got a nomad. I certainly want to promote him. And of course, what we should do now is get a nice little pile of loot. One quick little tip here is if you get any trade goods, lock them so that you don't sell them by accident. Because it's sometimes you can add these. These are free money. So if you can get a good price for these, it can actually work here. And of course, what we're going to do now is we're going to kit out our new person. Apologies for this digression, but she does need some reasonable armor. Got that. Otherwise, she's not going to last very long. Rusty axe, headcloth, rugged gaboon. Now we're going to have to get some kit anyway. Right, off down to Chakand. I think that's the leader of the Khuzaits. And we're just going to get into here. And again, what I'm going to do is we're just going to trade with these to start with. You can see the price here is 36. So I'm just going to sell that. You can see straight away that the price for velvet has actually dropped here. And it's actually very low. So in some ways we've been stuck with some velvet now. So we're actually going to cancel that transaction. So we're getting 136 for that. But we actually paid 415 for it. So we're just going to pop that. So we're just going to sell the velvet, make a little bit of cash, and then we're just going to trade again. Of course, what we can do now, because I've locked this, we'll just sell off that, and that will subsidize that. Here with the trade, our cheese is average price at the moment, so let me just come into here, see if there's anything else we can make. There's 70, so what's the price of oil? This is 41% cheaper, and we can sell that in Makeb, so we got a pretty good price for the oil here. But that's 70, and that's only, I mean, and again, if you look at the oil here, you'll see that there's only 11 difference. We could go up to Barkhand and sell the oil there. But so we could probably, so we're buying the oil at 75. I don't want to carry too much because the price is going up. It's getting a little bit close. So I think we'll just that. So I want to go up to Barkhand to start the next part of this video anyway. So we're just going to run up here. Of course, one thing I didn't do was sell off the looters. So they're actually slowing us down a little bit. But I want to actually, while we're going up here, let's just stop off. And now you can trade with villages. I'm going to a village for a slightly different reason. I think we can, oh, no. You're a Khuzait footman. Well, we might as well get a little bit of hype on that right away. And I think that brings my party up 23. And then what we're going to do is just shoot up to here. trade. You can see the oil here is 85. We bought it for 75. We sell that and we'll make a 657 value. Okay. Yeah, so we'll make 657 out of that. That takes us up to 4,872. I think that's enough of a introduction to basic trading in the game. Key points: buy cheap, sell high, preferably above the average things. Learn what a low price is and what the average price is. Working around the average price is very important. Just to reiterate that, especially when you're looking at rumors, because again, you can see there the beer, it says you can sell in Maghreb for 50. Now the average price for beer is, I can't find it, is 45. So that's slightly above the average price. Potential profit there, but if the numbers are very close, remember this will increase and you will never get the full 50 in Maghreb. Oil, it's quite interesting. You can buy oil cheap here, but you can't sell it there. Not there. 49. Hardwood's often a good one. Anyway, I'm getting digressed. So that's how you want to do it. And probably the final tip is be aware of the expenses of your party. So don't try and trade across the map with a party of 40 or 50. What you're looking in the beginning is keep your party around 20, 25. More importantly, as you spread out and get trade rumors, there is absolutely no point buying goods here and trading them, say, all the way over to Belgrade over here, because it will take 2 days to get there. So even with this small party, it's going to cost 200 gold to get here. So there's very little chance of you actually making a profit on the run, even by taking it there. But having said that, if you are going in that direction and you know that the value is over here, is good, and this is something you learn by experience, because certain cities and villages do have specialities. If you're going in the direction, there's nothing wrong with buying something really cheap in this area and then taking it with you and then selling it as and when you get an opportunity. So maybe it's there. We got sheep here. We don't want sheep on the cows. Got some steppe horses. Anyway, I think what we're going to do now, so I'm just going to come down here to get some steppe horses, and what we're going to do is just check to see what the price of steppe horses are. 65. I'm going to pick up some more of these. I mean 65 is probably one of the cheapest prices you can get for a steppe horse. And I just want to check my party. I've got 2 Khuzait nomads who I'd really like to promote to horse archers. Anyway, just noticed I've got a couple of looters, so we're just going to get back into here and just go to the tavern and sell them, because they're just going to slow me up. And I think we need to get into trading mode. Let's have a look here. Got 1 grape, 26. Grain is really cheap. Now, it's very difficult to make money with grain, but you've got to carry grain with you. So sometimes if you can get it really cheap, and if you've got the carry capacity, just pick up a little bit of grain like that. It's going to cost 224. But what you can do now is we're going to go towards Sturgeon lands, because you've got some better quality, how can you say, looters and raiders. There's 19 looters. Oops, no, wait, back this way. Okay, I want those 19 looters. There they are. 19 looters is a nice big number. We can take those down relatively easily. Otherwise, surrender and attack. Move forward.
Soldiers!
And now to move troops, what you do is you press the group number, which is group 1. And then just press forward. You don't need anything on that left-hand menu. And if you want to move the mounted archers or horse archers, you just put them just like that. And that, I mean, that is the most basic command in the game when you're actually going. Oops. How about fire into a group like that? Miss. Whoops. Wait.
Footmen! Backs to each other! Horse archers!
Horse archers, pull away.
Ready this way!
Get out of the battle. Because even looters can take down horses. Gotcha. So Calradia the Huntress got promotion. We've gained 1.9 renown, which is exactly what I want in order to finish the quest. And we've got a Khuzait raider and a Khuzait tribal warrior got promotion. None of my nomads got promotions, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I'm just going to take everything. And again, I'm just going to pick up the wine, the beer, and the cheese because I want to get good prices for that. We got everything here. And okay, let's check the party. I think we got interesting that it said two of them got promotion, but only one of them was here. I thought I picked up some prisoners. Never mind. And I think we got the capacity for the loot. So we just check the quest. How much further we got to go? We need another 4 renown. So we're just going to start moving east. Plenty of food. We've got food for 52 days. And I don't think I can add anyone to my party just yet. Oh, we can add 2. And you can see I've just paid out my parties now costing 102 gold a day. So we do need to, oops, I don't want to go there. What we'll do is we'll go up to Teal and see. I'm just going to go into here and just have a quick look. Well, what we can do is just sum up all the junk first. We'll have a quick look at the prices. Salt, I can see. We can get 30 for salt. And that's actually cheap. Olives, 31. Have a quick look. So if we move up to olives, now olives we can sell for 41. If I just have a quick check, the average price for olives is 30, so that's above price. Cheese, that's really cheap, so we'll hang on to that. And fish, what we got here, fish is 6, so that is really cheap for fish as well. So what we can do is we'll just buy about 20 odd fish. I want to leave some space for loot because I know that that is a rock bottom price for fish. So as we go further west, we can sell that. But of course, if I look at fish here, if I go back to Maghreb or Chaikand or Balkand, I can get a good price for that. The only trouble is I'm going to have to go all the way back, and this is something you do need to be aware of. Grain is still too cheap. Butter's pretty cheap as well, so I think we'll pick up a little bit of butter as well. We spent 100, and of course, because we're dropping loot off, we're actually making a bit of a profit here. So, and what I should do is wait and see if there's actually a tournament here. I keep forgetting about tournaments because I'm so hooked into the trading, and I always die in tournaments anyway. So I'll just show you how I die in tournaments. I'm really bad at this, and I think part of the problem is that Kembish doesn't really have any armor. So, okay, you're going to come at me. What you need to do is block and hack. Oops, missed. Ow! What I'm going to do is block so he can attack from behind, and then I can get in. Oops. Now this guy's got lighter armor. I actually won that round. You can bet in tournaments, but I don't bet at the moment because I've yet to win a tournament in this game, so we're now. I'm very good at getting to the third round. To be honest, I'm not very good at hand weapons either. So. What seems to be the way if you. Oh, God. Oops, you managed to block that. Got him. We're now through to the next round. I'm pretty good at getting through the first 2 rounds when you're fighting with teams, but skip. So we're fighting a sturgeon veteran warrior with a big shield. Thank you. Oh, we're actually in a team, and I've got a sword, and he's got an axe. I think I'm. Oh no, I've got a spear. Great. I'm even terrible with spears. I've never really got the hang of spears. The only weapon that I'm really worse at is a two-handed weapons. Oops. Oops. Got a bit of a headshot there. Now it's 2 under 1. I've got absolutely no chance of winning. Look at that. Axe straight into the head. And that is my routine tournament. I didn't want the prize anyway. And that's the reason why I don't bet. Yeah. Let's just get out, and we're just gonna got a little group of looters down here, so we're just gonna go and grab them. And they're running the wrong way, but that's okay. And we're just going to kill those. I don't like sending troops in at this point in the game, because what seems to happen is if you've got recruits which you want to develop, if you send them in, they seem to even die against looters. In the game, we're just going to the bowman behind. Now this game does have the strange mechanic in the sense that what actually happens is that no matter how, even when they're outnumbered, these people always seem to attack, which to me seems a bit dopey. Oops. Okay, let's just here F1, F3. Tell the melee troops to charge in because I've split their forces. Oops. And oops, I missed him. I know many players are fixated about levelling up their combat skills of their player, but to be honest, I'm more interested in levelling up the softer skills we actually pick up there. We've got Khuzait Peasant, not really interested, and we're just going to promote him. Still not getting a promotion with our Khuzait Mings. Of course, remember that every time you promote someone, they actually, how can you say, want more wages. My Rusty Falcon. That's yeah, I think she probably needs. See what else we got. We've got some arrows, and I don't think she's got anything here. I mean, ideally, what she needs is a shield. Give her a little bit more protection. But we're gonna be okay. I'm not going to go up to there. We're just going to keep going. How far off we are from the quest? We need another 3. So let's just go looking for trouble. This is what you've actually got to do. And I think what we're going to do is just drop into the village help. Oh, it's the party size. We can get 2 recruits. So what I would like is a couple of sturgeon, because I want to use those as my infantry front line. So look at the products here. Grain is still very cheap. There's no point there. Wool, what's the going price for wool? That's an average price. So 32. The average for wool is 40. Cheese, that's saying it's, I mean, that's relatively cheap. The cheese is cheap as 21 over 40, but I want to buy that. I suppose suppose I could buy a little bit of cheese, but we don't have a lot of space here. So no, I think I'm going to leave it for the moment. I don't want to get too distracted by the trade. I mean, once I've got the mission complete, it's like here, just to give you an example about trading. If we go and talk to these villagers and go into market 2, what they're offering me is 7 old workhorses, which are absolutely worthless. We've got 4 cows at 153, 8 butter at 8, cheese at 15, which is so we got 4 cows at 153. Now cows we can sell from a higher price than that. Butter is 8, cheese is 15, cheese is quite cheap, grain is 6. Actually, that's not bad actually, although what we're going to do with 7 old workhorses, I've got absolutely no idea. That's what's pushed out. We're actually going to buy that, and we've now our whoops, right. So let's just lock out the cows. We've got cheese and butter 15. We've got cows at 153 each. We've got some tattered stuff. Actually, let's just have a quick look this way. It's easier this way. Yeah. Fish at 5, grain at 6. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to push through, going this way. And we've got some looters there. Whoops. And this is going to be an easy one, so. Okay.
Soldiers!
Send our front line forward. And what I'm actually going to do is send the horse bowmen back, because we actually outnumber them, especially with me being a little bit of a distraction. So I'm just going to, whoops, double tap S to stop. Right, F1, F3, get them to attack. Now, if anyone of you don't like the battle commands here, Talwoods have actually said that they are going to rework this. Whoops. Oh, come on, I might as well try and get yourself a little bit of experience here. You can see the range of my horse archers, and what we've got there is we've got 0.8 renown from that. We've got 4 levels up. We've got one of our nomads has leveled up as well, so that's good. And I'm just going to pick up a couple of looters. We've got some sturgeon peasants, not nomads. I want you on a horse. And the footmen, I'm not interested in having archers at the moment. I'm just going to level everyone up like that. And of course we're just going to take the loot. We've got a bit more butter. Oh, cheese actually, not butter. What am I on about? And I'm just going to keep going east. Or west actually, not east. Now this is a bit of a dead end. You go down here, you end up having to double back here. So you see my actual wages have increased to 115. So you can see I'm actually losing money a little bit here. And I think just one near the settlement. See if we can cream these guys here as well. Okay. Either am I if you wish to surrender. Attack. And I think what we're going to do.
Footmen! Charge!
I'm just going to send our front line in. There's only 6 of them. I don't really think I need the horse archers to. Perhaps if I actually contribute a little bit to it. Nobody leveled up that because that was a simple battle. And got a couple more looters and a little bit more loot. And of course what we're going to need to do is get in Sibba and try and sell some of this stuff off, because I'm getting a little bit weighted down. Trade. And want to have a quick look. And of course, one way you can trade is actually filter it like this, so you can. So actually, just check. Thick leather, give you a little bit more armor. Nothing else here. But okay, this be 351. Certainly not gonna. I've got some old workhorses here. I'm not sure whether I actually need. It says speed 37, and they do give me extra carry capacity. Maybe we'll just hang on to the workhorses. I think they're slowing me down a little bit. And the cows here are cheap, below price. So we paid 153 for them. The salt is 35, still below average. The beer is a little bit below average as well. The butter hasn't gone up. Grain has gone up a little bit in price. So what we can do is, just to give us a bit more carry capacity, we can sell that off and keep about 16. This is a way that you can effectively get free grain. If you pick it up and pick it really cheap and then just sell it and also get it from the looters, you can then sell that for a profit. So that gives us 776. I think we're going to keep the butter. Our current price for butter is 10. That's well below, so we're not going to sell any butter. The fish is 21. That is actually a pretty good price for fish as well, so I think we'll sell off a little bit of the fish as well, because we don't. I mean, I do want the carry capacity. We'll keep enough for. Yeah, so that gives us 4,500. So we've done pretty well out of that. Now, I'm pretty sure that if we come down here, we might be able to sell the cattle off in the farms here. So it's still 44, so no one's interested in the cattle, but we're okay. We don't need to worry about that because it's not consuming loot. And you can see I've still got a speed of 7.3, so I'm probably one of the fastest units on the map because virtually all my troops are mounted. But this time we got a few more of them, so
Infantry!
what I'm going to do is move the infantry forward. And again, what I'm going to do is just
Mounted archers!
put the mounted archers behind.
Onwards!
And what they can do is provide cover fire against the looters. And I'm just going to ride off here, make myself look an idiot. Again, I'm just gonna draw the units off, and they've got a couple of whacks onto me. Okay, one F1, F3. The units that come in here. Right, these guys are actually broken. In some ways, this is a good way to train your low-level troops. We've now got 1.4 renown. We've got kills. We've got a couple more promotions. And we've got a couple of looters. I didn't actually sell off all the looters. We've got a Sturgeon recruit, and we've now completed the quest. And we've got 9 looters to sell off. Okay. And we've got a little bit there. We've got some grain. You can see here it says the grain is worth 11 and grapes are worth 24. So we're just going to click grapes as well, just to get that up there. I mean, the price that you get from looters is a little bit immaterial. We've now completed the mission. We've now got that, and by completing the mission, and as you can see, because we completed the mission, we've now got a party size of 49. Now, it's very tempting to build your party up to 49, but bear in mind, if you're going to do a lot of trading and traveling around, especially in this early stage of the game, the wages of 49 troops is quite expensive. So what I'm probably going to do is push the units up a bit more, get a bit more of a front line, maybe a couple of archers. So maybe we'll go to about 30, and that will be about it. And what I want to do is I'll just remember I've just stuck with those prisoners, so we're just going to get back into Siberia. The Tavern District, sell those off back to there. And I think just to finish the video, we'll have a quick look at the moment. If you see here, there's no rumours, but it just goes back to the last town. So the rumours are tied to the last town you come. But if I actually come down here, we'll just have a quick dash down to here. Oh, I've got 20 looters there. We certainly want to have a go crack at those. If I come in here now and trade, you will see that what I will find is that you will now get rumours related to other areas here, like Sibir. So what you can do now is actually start to put together a far wider thing. Wine, that's expensive. Not seeing anything that's really cheap at the moment. This is, but if we go back to Sibir, we may actually get a better price. And of course, what we can do now is start looking at missions. And I think just to finish off, we'll just have one more quick battle. I mean, 20 looters is probably enough. And I'm just going to attack, fight it. We're in trees, which could be a little bit interesting. Oh, we're not. That's good.
Footmen! Forward!
I think this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the
Mounted
horse archers out to
archers!
the flank.
Move!
So they've got a little bit of a incoming fighter, because there's 20 of these looters. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attract their attention. What the looters will often do, in fact I've noticed it with troops, is they will go towards the actual riders. So if I go there and press F6, that will put them under their own command. That will put them into skirmish mode. We go at 1 for group troops 1, F3. That will get those into there. Oops. Oops, still missing. Oops. I think I might have just shot one of my own troops there. Because what I've actually done is led these guys into their own death. And we got them. But when the battles are a little bit bigger, you can use tactics. And we've won that. We've got 1.9 renown gain there. We got 1 unit. Looks like Calradia the Huntress got wounded. We got 3 promotions, including a nomad. So go here. And we got some more looters here. And we certainly want you as a horse archer. And I'm not sure one as a footman. I'm kind of tempted. I mean, my strong arm group are going to be the Sturgeons, so I think maybe we'll make you into an archer. You're already a spearman, so that's good. And that's it. Paid some money, and we're just going to grab a nice big pile of stuff here. Cows worth 4 cows worth 193. And this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.